Welcome to Still Talking Uncut. I'm your host, Big Easy. We just shooting the shit tonight. My man, Mr. Brad Sanders from Liberty Soulshine, joining us. From home distiller to jar on the shelf, man. It's a story that I'm intrigued about. We're gonna have a bunch of questions for Brad. Hear his story. Um, Joining us, special guest tonight, Mr. Sean Rigsby. Enjoy him while he's here. Uncle Joey up in the corner. Mr. Yeah, he's still
What
there.
happened, man? Where'd you go?
Hey, don't you remember what happened last time? I kept getting kicked from a podcast, right? Don't make me pull a vendetta out on you.
You too.
It's the one that never stops going. I'm going to ask what everybody's sipping on tonight, but we might as well. Matt, what are you not sipping on tonight?
I couldn't get the good stuff because you guys won't share.
Well, you don't come out of the house anymore, so
Yeah, you got to go to Uncle Joey's, man.
yeah.
I was out of the house all week, but I wasn't at Uncle Joey's.
The hell is that?
What is that, margarita? That's a agave margarita.
No, it's that liquid marijuana I made.
All right, explain.
Hey, it's basically a mixed drink.
Well, I know it's a fucking mix. Of course,
I don't remember what all in it.
From the looks, they should have went through a filter.
Babe, what's in a liquid marijuana?
Pineapple, coconut. It's a fruity.
It's not something I can drink. It's too sweet.
It's got pineapple juice in it. I know
She
that.
said bitches drink that. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Why do you think I asked her? When we go to the bar, I give her liquid marijuana or a fishbowl. You know what I'm saying?
Does that got coffee creamer in it, Matt?
Huh?
Did that have coffee creamer in it?
No.
Oh, it had something in it that settled. When I shook it, it moved around. That's why I didn't know.
That was pineapple.
Ah, the pineapple. All right.
Oh, did you use the pineapple juice? Did it have imagine still had some pulp in it?
Yeah. All right.
All right. Anyways, so
we're all drinking on.
I'm drinking on
Mr. Brad Sanders jar.
Oh, Mr. Brad Sanders jar.
I got a little bit of that left. Sean,
I traveled across the country to get this.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I hope y'all enjoying it. I've been real happy with it. Like to hear some feedback.
I'd like to give you some, but these piece of shits wouldn't share.
I tried it at the distillery, and it was cold at the distillery, and I really liked it cold. So and it's still cold from being outside. So I haven't tried it warm because sometimes when you try liquor, it's better warm or it's better cold. Like it just all depends on if compressing those oils due to the coldness brings out more flavor, or is compressing those oils because it's cold releasing more flavor. It's just each jar is different. I'm a firm believer. I like my brandies cold. Whereas Uncle Joey, you hand him a jar of banana brandy, he's like, "Oh, I like it warm. I like it warm." So
the banana brandy I do. Now the peach I like cold.
Yeah.
Which peach you talking about?
The peach cantaloupe that I ran.
Okay.
But
yeah, that's pretty smooth either way. I thought about going 100 proof with it. It's 90 proof because but it had a burn that didn't really bother me all that much. But I thought it might have been a little much, being corn, for some people. So I kind of kept it at 90 and was happy with that.
What kind of still are you guys running down there? So this jar is released at Drop Zone Distilling.
Yes, in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay, and also over in Pigeon Forge area.
Yeah, the actual distillery's in Knoxville, Tennessee. He's got his store there. He just opened up not too long ago in Pigeon Forge there, and he's got all of his flavors there, and of course got a nice bar set up where he can do the tastings. But the actual distillery's in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're able to get these jars in Knoxville and Pigeon Forge.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying. So they have the main distilleries in Knoxville. They have we'll say a dispensary. They got a liquor dispensary, where they sell their jars in Pigeon Forge. So it's nice. You're in the Pigeon Forge area. You stop in, nice distillery. We all went down. Brad had got us. He contacted us and was like, "Hey man, I need some of that America corn," and that's what you used in this, correct? Was the Jimmy Red Ohio Blue?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the Philly America corn, it's the blend of the Jimmy Red and the blue, make America corn. He contacted us and was like, "Hey man, we want some of this. I want to use it." To say less, you don't want it ground. Say double less. Here you go.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of corn. I think it was quite a bit of corn. And I hate grinding corn. And if you ever grind corn, man, you start running hundreds of pounds through a grinder, man. You're just like you're covered in dust and filth, and it's all right. It gets done, but it just a lot of corn sucks. So when you want it whole, I'm your guy. I'll grind it.
That's
for you.
right.
But so we sent it to him, and then like all of a sudden, he's like, "Hey man, I'm doing my jar release," and I'm like, "Bro, I would love to come. I just don't know if it's feasible to. It's 6.5 hours away for me." And then Tater's like, "Hey man, we're doing our jar release on this weekend." I'm like, "Bro, that's the same weekend as Brad's. It's fate, So I got with everybody like, "Hey, we're all going." And Sean's like, "Yeah, I'm going." I'm like, "Sean ain't going." And Sean said he was going, and up until the last minute, he didn't show up. And
yeah, I had mine scheduled, and so I reached out to Nick. I said, I'm not going to take anything away from them, but just out of respect, I didn't want them to think, I'm scheduling mine right on top of theirs because I'd had it planned. And so I reached out to Nick, like I said, just out of respect, and said, "Hey, is this going to be okay?" Because I'd planned mine earlier that day, and he said, "Yeah, man, that's fine. Yours earlier in the day." And so it just ended up being a good weekend for a lot of people to come down, and I was very appreciative of everybody that came out and had a really good time.
We were fortunate that you had it that weekend, because like we rolled in, I got all these Ohio people with me, like that little distillery, that place is packed. We are jam packed in here, man. And it's just, our whole crew, we all show up, we hang out, they letting you try liquor, got to meet Rod, the owner. And so he seemed like a pretty good feller.
He is, yeah.
And he's got, he's pushing what he's got, pushing what he does, saying all about the veterans, which, how can you go wrong? What a great thing to play off of, like you put that work in, man, let everybody know that what you did, so it was a good time.
I think in the future, I'm sure he's a smart businessman, but I would play on the Sugarlands thing, man. I would do when they have big releases like that, have a release the same day or even the day before, because
it was early.
Get that influx of people into town, and it might even draw more people. It might help both sides of it. So, that might be a good thing for everybody in that situation.
Yeah, because a lot of people like to hit all the different ones.
Absolutely.
There's quite a few over in Pigeon Forge.
You might as well
going on.
We'll go to Old Forge while you're over there. Plus, they got Tennessee Shine. There's a million out there anywhere. But just and bring people into there because, like I said, it's hard to you don't really know it's there because it's just a little dispensary almost. Like you got to know the liquor. You got to know where the secret liquor store is to go there. And it's one of those places like you got to know it's there.
And let's be honest, it was good. I'll be honest, Brad. It was really nice of you to hear you say Justin Meredith's name, because let's be honest, there's some guys off Master Distiller that are never going to get their jars on the shelves or made, and this may be the only way for some of them to do it, man. And I think that's great.
That is the only way Justin Meredith is getting.
And that's what I'd like to do. Any of the guys that are looking to do that, I'd like to get with them and say, "Hey, this is my experience. This is, kind of fill them in," because Rod took me right in. Like I said, I was involved with every step of it. It wasn't okay, we got it from here. I was there for everything. And
at the beginning, we'll just start at the beginning. At the beginning, did you approach Rod like, "Hey, I'm interested in doing this"? Did you visit him in his distillery and then kicked around the idea? Like how did it come apart to where, hey, all of a sudden that you have a jar through his distillery on his shelf?
Well, what with that Liberty Bell jar, I had, the corn, I had the recipe, all the jars.
What are you
I was
talking about,
trying to
Liberty Bell
reach out,
jar? When you say Liberty
trying to
Bell jar?
reach out to different people, that kind of had a name because nobody knows me. And I ended up talking with Bruiser Martin, about it, and, looking for somebody that would, go in with me, like I said, I had everything planned out, all the material, the marketing stuff, and Bruiser happened to mention Rod to me.
He had a
And
jar
so I
there.
got in touch with Rod. And, Rod, I got in touch with him, gave him my idea, told him the whole plan, with the Liberty Bell and, that the American theme and all that. And of course, him being veteran and everything, he loved the idea. And he just pretty much said, yeah, let's do it. And I'd contacted, I've got a bunch of distilleries around, and I was pretty much to the point saying, hey, let's do it. You keep the money. Let's just do it. I want to see this through because I've been working on it for about 3 years, buying up those jars. And nobody would even consider it because at first I had 76 jars that I was going to do to go along with that theme. And of course, a distillery is like 76 jars, man. That, what is that for us?
Especially a big distillery, a bigger distillery.
Yeah. And so, and then Rod was like, great idea. We talked and talked about it. And he's like, yeah, I would love to, see it through, and got with him. And he pretty much, I took him my recipe and talked with his distiller and my ideas, and they threw in a couple ideas, but they never, it was pretty much everything I wanted to do. They just pretty much left the door open and agreed, and it just worked out great. And that's what I said with other people. I'd like to see some people that would like to get a jar, not, go, crazy with it. Even if they won't, like with me, I'm going to have those 250 bell jars. And then the other jars I'm going to keep on the shelf. I've probably got 600 jars right now.
Yeah, is it up to you to keep your items stocked on the shelves, and then up to you to distribute it to, we'll say, liquor stores, or if you were able to find bars to carry it, would you have to distribute it to them?
Yeah, I kind of thought about that. I would like to get it because I live in Liberty, is the name of the town I live in. There's a Liberty package store, and I thought, I'd like to get it here, but I don't know a lot about the, getting the distributor and all that. So
state, correct? Like that's in North Carolina or Tennessee, Pigeon Forge, and then you're in South Carolina. So, boom, there's already your biggest hurdle.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think I'll ever take it in that direction. Rod's distillery, they're being close. I'd like to go up there about once a month and push his stuff, push my stuff. It's an awesome place, just to go hang out. I like just hanging out there just because of the atmosphere.
Like hanging out in a distillery.
Yeah. And it's close by. So I'm like, hey, I'd be there every day if I could. But yeah, I don't think I'll go the distributor route. And I know Rod's got an outlet where he can do some stuff online, where you can ship it. Of course, South Carolina is one of those states you can't ship to. But
yeah, same. You can ship it, but there's a couple places you can ship to.
Yeah,
is it worth all the trouble to go through? So,
right,
like there are certain type of permits you get to where you can ship alcohol that you've purchased. And so like if you was like, hey, I got all these people, a lot of people, what I'm saying, like you're from the internet game, what I'm saying, a lot of people through groups and all that. It might be a way for you to distribute your jar that you paid for. You just buy it outright off the shelf and then send it to your friends and stuff. And because let's be for real, if you hopped on to all the guys that you've met through your years of being on the internet and was like, hey man, I can get each one of you a jar. How many you want? Your list would be that big quick.
Right.
I want 3, I want 5, I want this. Like I had a buddy who was talking about if his run ever comes out, I'm like, I need 10. And he's like, oh damn. I was like, 2.
Yeah.
But this is how it is, you get a buddy, you want to celebrate because them jars, they disappear really fast, you know. And then like for somebody like me that's far away, it's like, man, it might be a while before I make it back down there. So you know, like, and then like you said with the Liberty jars, you got 250 of those. You know, like, and can you explain exactly what that jar is?
Yeah, what it is, when, you know, being Liberty Soulshine, like I said, the town I live in is called Liberty, and I came across these jars. They were produced in 1976. You know, it's the bicentennial jar. It's got the Liberty Bell on it, 1776, 1976. And so I started seeing those, and I thought, you know, I started seeing them new old stock. People coming up saying, hey, I found these in my grandma's attic. You know, they would put them on eBay, you know, a couple bucks a jar. And I thought, hey, that'd be cool to have, you know, being Liberty Soulshine. And so I started buying those, and then that's when I seen that America corn, and I thought, hey, I'll just kind of go along with the theme here, you know, use the red, white, and blue corn. And I knew a lot of people was doing that. I'd tried some, you know, and you know, thought, you know, everybody's not doing it, but people are familiar with it. And so I started buying those jars up, and what I wanted to do along with that theme, I wanted I thought I'm going to buy 76 of them. And originally I was going to make it 76 proof. And I did that, and it was a little weak, you know, and so I upped the proof. And that's when I started talking with Rod, and he said, you know, keep buying them, the ones that you can. So any that I found that was new old stock, you know, that I could get at a good price, I started buying up. And then I ended up with 150 of them. And I got to talking with Rod, and he said, do you think you can find 250? Because, you know, next year's the 250th anniversary. He said, we'll really be going along with that theme. I said, well, I'll try, because it ended up after people that sold them out of their grandma's attic that they found it, you know, it started being collectors. So I was seeing boxes of them for $250, and I'm thinking, wow. And so I just kept looking, and there was a lot of pints on there. This is an actual quart jar. You know, my other jars, like most jars, are 750 milliliters. It's an actual quart.
Did they only allow you to put 375 in that jar, or 750 in the jar? I'm sorry. Did they only allow you to put 750 in the jar, even though it's a quart jar?
No, it'll be a quart.
Oh, you put a whole quart in there? Okay.
Right.
Like here in Ohio, you're only allowed quarts. Like you're only allowed 750s. Like you're allowed 750s, 375s, and they don't let you sell 32-ounce jars. That's it's insanity. And then like when you go to Sugarlands and things like that, it's always 750s. And it's also so they can get 5 jars out of a gallon instead of 4. Hit them with the Rigsby.
And so I kept looking for those jars. I told Rod, I said, yeah, I'll buy all that I can get, you know, if I can find a good price on them. Because the deal was, you know, I'd find one here, one there,
right? But
it was used. And I said, you know, I want to have new jars. And so I kept looking, and now I finally ended up with 250 of them, and I'm still looking every day. And, you know, but they're to the point now I want to keep it, you know, where I'm not having to, you know, sell them at a ridiculous price.
Right. And they said they're hard to get. And like you see people, they want $50 for a flat of 8, you know,
yeah,
$100 for 8 quarts and, you know, 8 pints. And it's like, man, like that, when there ain't a whole lot of profit on a jar in a distillery, in case people didn't know.
That's right.
When you've got $5 to $10 in just the jar, like, you know, like you said, luckily when you went in, you're like, hey man, I don't really care about the money. I'm here for the love. And I'm sure that probably blew his mind when he was like, oh, are you serious? Like, yeah, they're just, you know, like, for some of us, you know, we just want to, you know, put something in it, you know, just enjoy it. It's somewhere you can go. You can take the family over to Knoxville, or you said you're in South Carolina, so maybe Pigeon Forge is closer for you than Knoxville. If you just want to take the family over, you know, a couple of hours, 2 hours away. So that's a great thing that Rod's doing. He that's doing for you. And I know he's got a Tracy from Squat Shine, doing the same
Yep.
thing. Oh, Joey, get him on.
He already is.
All right, cool.
Yep,
I figured he was. I talked to him one day when he stopped by. So
Now Uncle Joey does the scheduling. Now calm down. Let him do the scheduling now before he gets all butthurt. All right.
I just said, what do you say? I gave him a job to do. I just tell him, like, hey, man, what about this dude?
No, I've already got Tracy coming on, man.
Nice. Have you thought about the jar manufacturer, and or are you trying to keep it to where they are the 200-year-old jars?
Yeah, these I talked with the company because I thought they may, come out with something that being, 250th anniversary, or to see if they would ever, do
come out with
these again.
250th anniversary jar, just maybe change the design or have a new one, like you said, a 250.
Yeah, and I talked with the company, and they said, "Man, if we made that jar nowadays, it would cost so much."
Just to make.
I think the company is Anchor Hawking. They said our jars now are just smooth jars. We don't put anything on them just because of cost.
Yeah.
And so he said, "Yeah, I can assure you there won't be any more of those."
But you never know. Just because it's going to be 250 years, he might be telling you there ain't no more, ain't going to be none. But let's be for real. When they're going to celebrate 250 years of making jars, they're not just gonna be like, oh, it's our 250 year
sales tactic. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
there ain't no way. Like you say, keep your eye out, and when they come out, man, scoop them up and do your thing. Like,
and who's to say one of the other jar manufacturers might not do it?
Yeah, like who else is coming up on a big, like, how long has Ball been around? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, them the jars we all love, anyways. But you got all these other, you never know. Like you said, they're coming up on 250.
Yeah.
They might tell you differently, but somebody's going to be like, dude, we're going to pay the money for the mold, and we're going to make these jars, and we're going to sell 1 billion of them. And they're going to be like, yep, you're right. And they're going to do it. So, like you said, just keep your eye out for it. But, well, cool,
yeah,
man.
because these jars now 50 years old, and I asked him, I said, do you know how many of those that you produced in, 1976? And he said, we don't have a clue. He said, I don't know how I could even find out. He said, but he said, I will say, if you've got 250 of them, then you're lucky, brand new ones still in the box, new old stock. So, but yeah, mostly collectors now, when you see them, they're pretty ridiculous price. And the thing that really gets you is shipping. If you do get a good price on them, they're pretty heavy. So
yeah, you got to go get them, because if you do ship them,
it's hard to get a good price on them.
Half of them might come broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had about 10 of them that got
That's
broke.
what I'm saying. Like, dude, the shipping don't care, man. Shipping don't care.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like the shipping don't care. They're just like, oh, here you go. And you're like, oh, yeah, some of it broke. There's probably some in there that's all right, though.
Yeah, I got one box, ran outside, picked it up, and it was like, I was like,
oh, I hope it's
and
only one.
They were like, yeah.
I hope it's only one.
Quite a few of them were broken.
So, we talking about your jar today, but what got you started, Brad?
There you go. I was waiting for that transition.
I don't have a long history of family. My teachings from all you guys. That's my history. Is I've been into it now real heavy for about 5 years. So I started off, with a little stainless Vever 8-gallon.
Got you, little Vever.
Yeah, and
football. Hey, the football Vever's the best of the Vevers.
Yeah.
Like, they ain't great. They will make liquor, but the football Vever's the best one. It's all tri-clamp, easily modded on. Football's the one. If you're going to buy a Vever, buy the football. But you really just go buy you a copper pot. But if you buy the football.
And I've incorporated some copper. I got a spool, to get that football up off of it. Some
a little
of the
more
heat.
reflux.
And Thunder Road made me an arm and a couple things. So I've changed it up a little bit. I still like to use that one. Like if I'm experimenting with something, just want to do
man.
Something small,
R&D
easy
unit.
to clean.
Like
I
Uncle Joey's boy ain't never see that 3-gallon. He ain't never gonna come off of it. He just his tester pot.
So how long did it take you to move up to a bigger one?
About a year. Yeah. Yeah, because the main thing, I almost went with stainless with a bigger pot, but I kept for about 2 years before I even bought anything. I was watching videos and researching and reading, and I thought, okay, the only way to learn anything is to get your hands dirty, to
Right.
get in on it.
You can only,
So
you
I
can only read and
finally
watch
got
so
up the
much.
nerve. Yeah. And then when I got that copper, man, the only thing I hate about it's, the cleaning. But as
Yeah.
far as, the way it heats up, the time that I save, I've got a keg still too, that I like to use, but I've got a Thunder Road copper. It's just a 20-gallon,
Yeah, but it
that I run.
It don't hit like the copper one, man. Nothing hits like the copper one. Like they're all good stills. They all make great
Yep,
liquor, man. But I just feel like the copper one just hits differently, man.
Are you?
That was my game changer. And then I ended up using good grains, found a good water source, and I couldn't believe the difference that just that made. Everybody's doing sweet feed and all that. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what I learned to make. And had some people try it. Most of it I threw out, but I learned different
goes,
things.
Man. What was the first thing you ran?
First thing I ran was a sweet feed that I got from Cyrus Mason. I got one of his kits and ran that, and it was pretty terrible, the first one that I ran. And so I went and bought sweet feed and cracked corn, and then I started just doing corn, and immediately I started learning how to convert everything. That made a big difference, even with with not so good grains.
Yeah. I mean, it's the flavor. It's a flavor. Wayne Ozark, stainless pot kick. You're right. Honestly, the pot doesn't matter. For me, the pot can be stainless, makes it easy to clean up, but the copper heats up a lot faster. And it's a lot more to maintain. So, but the pot doesn't matter in my opinion. In my mind, it can be stainless, it can be copper. It does not matter in my mind. The pot for me, it's everything after the pot. I believe is what makes the biggest difference. And you're right, Jimmy Red's a good corn. It's got it's a good oil base, and like I said, when that's why he paired it with the blue corn, and you get that nice sweet from the blue, sweet finish. You get that nice earthy, oily in it, and I think they complement each other real well.
I do have to say what Easy brung back is the best liquor I've ever had that has red or that Jimmy Red in it.
Ben's handed me one. Oh my God, I think he did that to me. I think he pulled a trash jar, gave it to me on purpose.
So, do you run propane or electric, Brad?
Propane. Next, I'm hoping to go electric, and that's ultimately what I want to do. I would like to have of course, you always want a bigger still, but I'd like to go with at least a 50, and go electric with it.
Once you get bigger than a 50, man, you better have some time. You better have 24 hours, dude. And most people don't understand that. They're like, oh, man, I need bigger. You run a 50, you bang a 50 in 10 to 12 hours. Like, I need bigger. Like, all right, man, run this 100. Run this 100, and 23 hours later, you're like, damn, I'm not halfway through the tails yet because this thing just keeps giving. I'm going back to a 50. Unless you got a crew, man. I think 20 is ideal for a home distiller. 20 gallons is ideal. Whether it's paste or tri-clamp, it does not matter. A 20-gallon is ideal. You just got to run it.
Unless you're LeMaster.
Yeah, there you go. But you said if you want to make a good amount of liquor, a 50 is perfect. Perfect if you need to make a solid amount to get you done, fill a little barrel, or just knock a long afternoon or early morning out. 50 is the way to go.
Are you a one and done guy? Do you run thumper or you run just straight arm, or what do you got going on with your pot?
I've always ran just straight over to my condenser. Recently, I added a 2-jar rig because that was something else. I seen everybody using thumpers. I started off and just never took the time to get a thumper, and I said, well, I would at least like to have a couple jars, right. And same thing, another game changer, just running, putting some of my mash in there. And I want to start, infusing some different flavors. That's what I want to do next. But that made a big difference.
Have you ever thought about adding a thumper to it?
Yeah. Yeah. The next rig I get, I want to have just a standard, pot thumper worm.
If you put a thumper before those jars, they won't fill up as fast during your run. You'll knock down your pressure and your flow to them, because that thumper really knocks down your feed pressure, and you could control it and really slow down, and the filling of your jar slowing down will allow you to get more flavor into your run as you
Infuse
run.
more flavor.
So it might be something that if you do add it onto a different still to be able to pipe it into that still.
Yep.
Or vice versa. If you don't care about the jars filling up, you just kick it down and empty them or whatever. If you got a drain in them, then you can put it after it, and you could pump more flavor into it with an infuser. Like, you should really experiment using a shooter infuser on your thumper, man. You could just add so much constant flavor throughout your whole run.
Yeah. That's what I'm wanting to get into, because I've been, I've kind of put all my time into this, and I definitely want to try some different stuff like that. And I always like the discussion. You was talking about time, how long it takes to run, and I mean, I sit there, I've done that where you sit there for 10 hours, and I've done it where, especially when I got the copper, outfit, it was just running so much better. And, but I get a lot of people ask me about that. How long does it take you to run? I let mine just drip. And I'm like, I've tried it both ways. Just like, I still use ice in a cooler, because I've got it in my mind from the time I've started. I've kept my water in between, 60 and 80 degrees, and I can control that easy with, I go get about 4 bags of ice, 16-pound bags for $2 a bag out of these machines you see. And I know it could go hotter, but that's just the way that I've done it from the time I've started, and I've just stuck with that. Because people's like, well, you don't have to, use ice, just use your hose. And I'm like, I don't mind doing it.
I don't have to.
You do what works for you. That's the best way.
And that's the greatest thing about this, man. And no one's going to tell you any differently. They're going to probably learn a few things from what you do, maybe pick a few things up from it. So
that's what it's about.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
What little thing do you do that I don't do that I might do? I'm gonna give it a try. That now I do because I watched you do it and I gave it a try. You know what I'm saying?
How many times have
you?
Yeah, how many times have you tried something somebody always does, but it never works for you? I've done
tried
that
every way. Try it every way. Try every yeast. Try every way. To jump back to the drop zone, what type of still did you run that in? Was it plates? Did it have a thumper? Did you run it through a gin basket? Did you just column it straight to the still? Forgot to ask that earlier.
Yeah, he's got the plates. You know what's wild, when we done a test run, the distiller there, he brought in I think it was a 50. That was the old Pepsi thing that he bought from Philbilly. You remember that, or the Coke?
Yeah,
I think it was a Pepsi.
Yeah, no, it was. So we had. This is where I come in. It's like you can talk when you talk about it. Like, it was me, and we went down to the distributor and we picked up some barrels, and he was like, "Hey, man, I got this old Coke barrel. This thing is from back when it come out of an old McDonald's." And because back in the day, they would take stainless 55-gallon stainless barrels of Coca-Cola syrup, and they would roll them into a McDonald's, and they would hook up to them and pump it straight out of the barrel into their machines. It wasn't like now where it came in bags and boxes and things like that. It had a big old port on the side, big old 3-inch port. It's got a sight glass in it now. Like, we had to put a port in there. And so the dude at the place was like, "Hey, man, I'll give that to you for a killer deal if you want it." And I'm like, "Bro, you had me at this thing's old as hell and come out of an old place." So I forgot where it went to. So it's awesome to hear you say that he showed up with it was an old Coca-Cola barrel that come out of an old McDonald's in the 80s when they used to use 55-gallon drums of Coke syrup. Because
when I showed up and Ronnie had that, and I was like, "Man, that's a cool rig." He said, "I got this from Philbilly." I said, "That's where I get my corn from." I said, "Man, this is meant to be." I said, "This is all coming full circle now." So we did the test run in that, but I think the one they've got in the distillery, I think it's a 500-gallon, but they've got the plates and stuff, and much stuff. I mean, I can't even really tell you what. I was just standing there like this, So
Rod was telling me how they took the gin basket and turned it into kind of like a thumper, and that's what they do as opposed to running a thumper. So yeah, it was an interesting fellow to talk to. He was busy, so what I'm saying, we didn't get to shoot the shit a whole lot. But like I said, we was there for you, which was cool. But it was awesome, and all the people that showed up. So after you moved on from Sweet Feed, did you get into something else in hardcore? Was it just grain? Have you done a lot? Messed with a lot of fruits?
I love the corn part of it. I don't drink a lot, but I thought, you know what? If I can make a good corn liquor that tastes good to me, somebody's gonna love it. And so, and I started talking with, like Mark Ramsey and all those guys. I said, I know it's moved way far from just corn liquor, but that's my interest. I just
it's your passion, man. You love what you love.
Yeah, and I wanted to do everything. I wanted to, go back, the old ways that people done things, incorporate some new ways. I'm kind of an old spirit, so I like to do everything the old hard way.
I want to do it my way.
Yeah, and so I kind of stuck with that and started sourcing stuff local, local water, and I wanted to do as much as I could local, good grains and stuff like that, and getting the water off the side. There's a place going up the mountain called Moody Springs. The water comes just right. They built basically a spigot there. People just stop and fill jugs of water up. And so I thought one day I stopped and I got it and checked the pH. It was perfect. I was like, whoa, this is some good stuff. And so I started using that. And
do you proof with that water, or do you just mash with it?
Both, yeah.
So you're proofing with that water also.
Yeah. And what I started trying to do is use as less water as possible. I try to proof with my lower proof stuff, before you get way into the tails.
You talking the sweet waters, or you talking about? Are you trying to bring it down with your 190 proof? Is that what you're talking about before you get into your tails? Well, I know when you're running it in plates, man, your tails are going to come in at a lot higher proof, and so did you guys run a little farther into it since you're multi-distilling?
Yeah, because I think this came off. I think. With the run he did, I think it came off right around 180 proof.
Yeah, there's a place.
Man, it just kept running and running. I think I ended up with about 630 something jars.
Dude, it's amazing. Like you're used to a small still giving. Well, you get into the big stills, dude, and it's just like, man, this thing is giving. Gallon an hour. And you're just like, gallon an hour, dude. You're running a 20-gallon still, a couple gallons, you're about done. You got to collect tails, but like it's amazing when you get in the big stills how they just give, man, just keep giving and giving. You're like, time keeps ticking and ticking, and it's not dropping. Like you're waiting, and the whole time you're grinning like, yeah, boy, keep giving.
Yeah. I know Rod told me how much came off, and I was, he was giving me all these numbers. I said, what does that mean? He said, that means you've got a hell of a lot of liquor. He said, in a nutshell, that's what all these numbers mean. Cause I was like, I was kind of lost with all that. And he said, it's a lot of liquor. So
it's a good conversion.
And one thing I like about my 20, I don't get, of course, I don't get a whole lot out of that, but I've gone more to quality, not quantity, but I'm getting better quality because I'm learning, my cuts better, stuff like that.
Well, that when you first get into it, man, everybody goes through the chasing the proof. We all want to hit 190. Got to get 190. I got to get 190. Everybody chases that shit. High proof, high yield. Oh, I'm pulling 15%. It's on the border, but I'm pulling this. I'm pulling 15 to 20%. And then like it's just like anything else, man. As you age, everything calms down for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you get into where you're about quantity.
You realize
you're not about quantity. You're about
so
quality
good.
over quantity. You're like, man, I'm going to make a larger head cut. So I'm going to make a sooner tails cut. And then how I proof it has changed, and the proof I like to drink at has changed. It's just like with anything, man. Wisdom. You gain your wisdom along your path. Whether you first started with Sweet Feed on a Vever. To the point where you full conversion, making killer stuff. You got a jar on the shelf now. You know what I'm saying? I imagine it was a dream of yours, and you made it come true. So congratulations.
Yeah, and my whole goal, is to, learn from people and because I want to pass it along, because that's what everybody in this whole community, that's one thing that's really, gave me that drive is, people's always willing to help and give you ideas. And, I've never been shut down by anybody or pushed aside. And that's what I want to do. I'd like to be at a festival, not to be famous to sign autographs, but somebody to say, hey, there's Brad. Let me ask him, to pass it along, keep it going.
There's nothing better than sharing the knowledge that you gained from somebody else along the way. There's nothing better than somebody coming like, hey man, I learned how to because of you. Like, dude, it is
passing that on to somebody that's wanting to learn too. Yeah, absolutely.
It hits differently when somebody's like, I've been places and I've had fathers and sons come up like, hey man, me and my boy, we got into moonshine and we make liquor all the time. Like, dude, that's something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you brought some people together. Whether the son grows out of it later on, because that tend what happens. They get into late teenagers, they start chasing something different other than jars of liquor with dad nowadays. They start pulling the old Rigsby in. And but you know what I'm saying? Like, you give them something to do as they're younger, they have something. It hits differently when you can help people by things that somebody else was very open to you. And like I always say, man, knowledge gained and not freely spreads, knowledge wasted. And it's how things die. So just keep spreading and, keep doing your thing. And I said, David Masher was in here earlier, said that you're helping him a lot. And it's like, bro, like that's what, it's what you do. That's what we all do. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing.
Exactly.
You're continuing that trend that people have given to you along the way. And be like, dude, do your thing. Do your thing. You got
keep
a jar coming out?
Yeah.
Like, you got a jar coming out? Like, yeah, like, all right, shit, I'll be there if I can. Help me celebrate. Let's get it, So
yes, support everybody. That's what I'm about. I mean, I'm not jealous of anybody. I love to see people, doing well, and if I can help in any way, I mean, share a post or something. There's nothing to that, I mean, and it goes a long way.
So do you have you ran much fruit? Are you a brandy guy at all, or have you tried much of that?
That's what that's my next thing that I'm really wanting to get into. Get into that, and me and David had talked about, he picked up some rye. I'm wanting to do rye. I'm kind of intimidated by that because you hear about people saying how spicy, and so I thought, well, that'd be a good way.
Yep.
Like if you're worried about it being spicy, just soak it.
Yeah.
If you just want a little bit of kick to it, crack it. If you want it to melt, if you want it to melt your face out, powderize it.
Yep. So I'm gonna try to maybe do like an apple rye. There's a couple people that said, "Hey man, I'll be glad to tell you the way I do it," and so that's where I'm gonna fire that little vapor back up and experiment on it and try to come up with something. And now that I got those jars, start doing some fruit, and, kind of step out a little bit because I've done some post flavoring with like some of the Olive Nation stuff and come up with some pretty good flavor, for people, that just wants a peach or something like that. And,
right. It changes your mind when somebody hands you a solid jar of brandy and you're like, bro, how?
Yeah.
How?
Yep.
When you pop a bottle or a jar open and you're like, oh my God, what'd you put in this? And you're like, how? It changes your mind about brandy. And you're like, all right, man, how? Tell me what you do and tell me what you do. And that's why I'm always like, well, I'll show you what I did. Go do it, pick up something and do it yourself. Here's what I did. It's nothing like, and then like sometimes, you got to be wary when it's too good to be true. Somebody will hand you a fake jar. It's your duty to make sure that your jar. So if you're unsure, man, don't be afraid to test it. You know what I'm saying? If somebody hands you a jar, don't be afraid to test it. Like if I handed you a jar and you tested it, I would consider that an honor. I'm not going to get mad or angry.
Right.
That's an honor. Yeah. It's an honor to a purist. You know what I'm saying? Now, if anybody gets mad or angry because you're like, I want to test this jar, there's probably a reason why I don't want you to test that jar. So,
and to anybody that don't know, when he says test, he means check the proof. Because if you add anything, sugar or whatever, then the hydrometer will float. Like
bounce out and poke you in the eye.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of them. Or you can always put it on a spoon and burn it. It'll end up caramelizing the
Yep,
sugars and the
residue.
additives. They'll all caramelize on the sugar. You can't just do it with a regular lighter. You got to have a torch to be able to really melt the shit. But there's ways to tell. But you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, don't ever be afraid to question somebody's jar because, like I said, for me, I'm like, hey, man, you know, light it on fire and throw a hydrometer in there, baby. Do your thing.
Yeah.
It's an honor when somebody's like, what'd you put in this jar? And it's like love and water. That's the only thing that went in that jar was love and distilled water. So
yeah, a lot of hard work.
yeah, too much hard work.
That's
but
what I love
love
about this craft. You know, it excites me because the sky's the limit. You know, if I want to do brand, you know, I mean, there's just I don't know where to go
rabbit
next.
hole.
There's so
what
many.
rabbit hole today? You know, be wary of which rabbit hole you go down, man, because you're gonna wind up. You're gonna learn this, and then all of a sudden it leads to this, and then it leads to that. And by the time you done forgot about where you started, and like
you're learning.
Yeah, you're right.
Run down the rabbit holes. That's what I do.
It's kind of like how I stumbled upon some oats. I did a 5-gallon blueberry run, and I threw some oats in it, and just the mouthfeel you get from oats. Now I'm intrigued on doing oats with different things to see what kind of mouthfeel it'll bring to some different kinds of grain, or some sweet corn, or just various different things. So there's
I've
so
been
many
using
different
oats
things to do and experiment with.
Now, are you using rolled oats? Have you used like the fresh oats that look like little sticks, or they're already rolled? Dude, them little fresh oats are wild, man. Like you pick them up, they're dry as shit, but as soon as you crack them, dude, they have a moisture in them, and it's wild. Uncle Joe, you have to come get some of them oats, man.
I will.
Sean, didn't you run brand? Didn't you run brand before?
Wheat brand, yeah.
Now, was that did it raise? Was it?
He says, "Did it raise?" That shit was like banana, dude.
Yeah.
What is that like? Get real spongy.
Yeah, tall caps. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you get into certain types of oats or bran or Matt, you ever run anything that caps the hell out of you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just certain things cap, man. So I'm always like, dude, I'm just going with a giant fermenter. That way I never have to worry about it. You're doing 20-gallon mashes? Use a 50-gallon barrel. You ain't got to worry about headspace.
Well, and a lot of those old school guys back in the day, man, they would make their mash or whatever. Then they just throw some of that wheat bran in there just to cap it off.
Just to cap it off and really
just kind of seal it.
Your shit, yeah. You see, most of them old fellas are old submarines. Like, dude, they're just right in that pot. You know what I'm saying? Like, right in that pot. So I've never done wheat bran. I ain't intrigued.
So what's your favorite? I know you said you used America. What's your favorite corn to run? Or have you run a lot of the different varieties, or have you kind of just stuck with a few different kinds?
Yeah, I've ran a few different kind. I like a Hickory King corn. You know. I really like that, and I've used some oats in that. But you know, I like that. And then one thing I did notice going back to that, you know, the corn like the red and the blue, you know, the oils you get. I was kind of, you know, worried about that when I seen that, and then I started kind of keeping it and noticing the flavor that I was, you know, instead of just, you know, kind of scooping it off or whatever and worrying about all the, you know, the oil and everything. I finally just, you know, chilled out a little bit and let it do its thing and thought, well, you know, I think I got more flavor from that.
From leaving the oils in?
Yeah.
So when it comes to yeast, are you real picky about that, or do you use one for one and something for another one for something else?
That's something else that I've been wanting to experiment with. I've just used the data yeast, you know.
Right and true, man.
That's what I've used, but you know, I start hearing about, you know, all this other, and that's something else that I want to dive into. And
now that is a rabbit hole right there.
Yeah,
that's a big hole. That's a black hole, is what that is.
Yeah, it is.
Those are questions for what?
That's Sean's storage unit.
Huh? Yeah.
So there's some Dr. Heist questions.
Yes, it is.
That is some Dr. Heist questions, man. That's
but I definitely don't want to get into one thing and stay. My mind's always, you know, turning, and And the thing is, I'd like to have more time to put into it.
It's work and home, and it's hard, man. Like it's hard to
yeah,
have time for all this, and then like where we live, dude, like 6 months, you don't even want to go outside, or you got to heat a barn or a shed. You got to heat that shit just to be out there.
yeah,
So yeah, it ain't great, but you do what you got to do, man. Like what I'm saying, it's all like for us, it's a hobby, man. It's love, what I'm saying. So like I said, it's really awesome that you took your love and and your passion just from starting on a Weber, making sweet feed, doing what you do, and to finally just being like, hey, man, I got this idea. It's a great idea. And, for everybody to support you on it and have you back on it. And, it's an amazing, it is your accomplishment, but at the same time, and it's an amazing community accomplishment. Because, like I said, you are a product of the moonshine community all the way back from whether it's George and Jesse or if it's old school Philbilly videos, or like you said, you hop in and you got Cyrus who's there. He was on the MeWe, I believe it was, real big back in the day, and the message board. So it didn't matter where back in the day that you came from, you ended up here. And like I said, it's a community accomplishment that was your accomplishment that you brought to life. So, we're all grateful that to be a part of this with you, man. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, I definitely appreciate it. And it's nice getting out. I was at Jerry's Christmas party this past weekend and, got to
had a
meet
good
Daniel
turnout. That was
Stevens.
awesome, man. That was all. Oh, you met old Bennett?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Man,
I'm sorry.
enjoyed that.
I am sorry, but
sorry.
oh damn! I was wondering when somebody was going to say his name. Like, we still waiting to have him on. We got special reasons to have him on, but we're waiting.
We're making him wait.
He's been on so many times. He's a frequent flyer.
So from the beginning, I've really dug your name. So Liberty, that's where you're from, but the Soulshine. How did this whole thing come together and put it together, man? I dig the shit out of it, by the way.
Well, I had a guy, when I first started making it that, he was the first one I really started, sharing it with. And he got where he'd call me, he'd say, man, I need some of that soul shine.
Hell
I need some of that soul shine, and he kept on and it's funny because, I play music. I've played music for the past 30 years and, of course, the Allman Brothers and the Warren Haynes thing.
There you go. And that's ironic that's the song I put for you. Yeah, that's
I hope
one of
I
my
don't get
favorite
sued
bands.
by him, but I tried to reach out to him and, and I did the Liberty Soulshine, and I thought, I hope that's not a trademark thing, because I did kind of look into that because I know the legal thing of it, but hopefully being Liberty Soulshine, it won't be a problem, but yeah, my buddy, he would hit me up. He'd say, man, I need some of that Soulshine, and so I just kind of put those two together. And
you also put your heart and soul into it, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I know when I was making the ad, that was the first song I hit, Soulshine by Warren Haynes. I said, yeah, that's the song that's going on top of that ad right there.
Yeah, I reached out to Warren or to his team, because like I said, I've been into music. I know some of those guys, and I haven't got a response. And I know in a couple of weeks he's going to be in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm only an hour or so from there, and I thought, should I show up and just give him a jar, or should
hey man, ain't nobody upset about a free jar of liquor. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Ain't nobody upset about a free jar of liquor. Maybe give him a couple jars for him and his buddies to enjoy. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Ain't nothing like dude. Like, ain't no icebreaker like a couple free. Like, hey man, I make these jars. I play. You say I do this. You say I'm a big fan.
Hell yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, just man. Everybody loves a free jar. So.
Oh yeah.
Just spelled the name a little differently.
What's happening, Judd?
How you doing, Mr. Henderson? Hope you're doing well, brother. It's good to see you.
But yeah, it was nice up there at Jerry's to get to see some people that I've talked to, through Messenger and stuff. I finally got to meet, and that's one thing I love about these festivals. Is finally getting to meet people and because I've always kind of just stood back. I didn't want to push my way in or anything like that. I didn't want nobody thinking I was, but now I feel like part of the family, so.
Yep.
Yeah, the events are awesome, man. Meeting all these people for the first time. I'm the same way. I've been on this internet, and then you get to hand them jars, pass jars, sit and talk to them. It's a cool experience, man. It really is.
Uncle Joey observes from the fence most of the time.
With Tater, me and Tater, Jimmy Jacks.
If you can find one, you can find the three. Fucking Three Stooges.
Did you try that tater liquor, Sean?
Yes, I did.
Dude, it is so much better cold. Like, dude, I really like. I mean, it's good warm, but dude, cold, the apple nose really pops, and it's more like an apple juice. I like it better cold. I will say the wood's a little stronger, but the apple comes through a lot more cold. They're saying it's the brandy, man. I'm telling you, it's got fruit in it, man. Drink it cold, compress those oils.
Hey, one thing I'm thinking about doing, I got so many people wanting those, Liberty jars, and I've got these tags for them. They'll be numbered each jar. I was going to talk with Rod when I go up on the 20th. I thought about, I see a lot of people doing these pulls, for like a name pull.
Yeah.
I thought about doing like $10 for a pull. I could pull a name and then pull a number. And then, with that money, give it to Rod to give to the veterans that he supports there. From the pull, and that way, when I do the pull, you've got your name, and you're getting this number jar, and they're all, they're all, instead of doing like a pre-sale type thing. I'm just trying to figure out a way to, because I don't think everybody would show up on one day and it'd be like Walmart people lying down the sidewalk. I want jar number, that kind of thing. Right. So I'm trying to figure out a good way to do that. So.
Well, it's just they're a number out of 250. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to what numbers you get, I know when I was at the distillery, I was like, "Hey, man, I get a drinking jar and I get a shelf jar. So I need you to set me aside. Like 6 of those Liberty jars are gone. 6 of them are gone. Like I got some Ohio fellas.
We need at least 6. Absolutely.
6 of them are gone. So when you come out with them, let me know. I'll make all these assholes cash app you your money because they don't ever pay me back."
He's got 244 of these is what we've got right now. Yeah.
That's what I said. Yeah. On the internet, he was like, I got 250 of these. I immediately was like, 244 asterisks. And he's like, yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I already spoken for these, man.
And I've even got the original boxes, so that's the cool thing, too. They came with the boxes with the canning instructions. And so, it's been a neat project.
Well, I know
ready to see them get out there.
This is some good liquor, man. Easy gave me some, and I gave some to Sean. It smells good, dude. It's clean. Sorry, Matt. It's a good drink of liquor, Brad. You did a damn good job here, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. Ronnie there it drops on, man. He knows his stuff, and I was so happy, because I was kind of nervous. I was trying to think, I kept some that I'd ran, and even I'd sour mashed a lot of that too, and I like that, and I even wanted to for the 250th anniversary. I thought, should I make some up and barrel it for like a year and have like a bicentennial bourbon? I had all these ideas, and but I think it's a good enough. That's the thing I didn't want it to be a bunch of hype. Look, I did want it to be a good jar. I didn't want it to be all about the jar. I wanted a good product in there. And when I tasted, I was like, yep, that's what I wanted. That's what I've been doing. So very happy with it.
That's the battle right there.
Yeah. And I definitely wanted you guys to try it because I was, I wanted somebody that would be on, and everybody's been honest. Even when I did it at 76 proof, I had a 90 proof, I had 100 proof, and 76 was too low. 100 was a little high for most people, so 90 was, like I said, was kind of in between. And I thought I'll just kind of stay with that. If I can keep it that way, I'm happy with it.
Hell yeah. I think that was a good landing point.
Good call. Yeah.
And definitely a learning experience, man, with TTB, with labels, with everything involved. I would call Rod and he would be like, oh man, I told him one time, I said, now I see why people do it in the woods.
Right.
I mean, it's just, and then about
there's
the
a
time
lot more
mine was
risk, but
getting
there's a hell of a
ready,
lot more money, if you got the people to buy it. But I ain't got time
Yeah.
for that shit.
and then the time mine was getting ready, the government shut down, and they're like, well, your labels are on hold because the government
course
shut
they
down.
are.
Oh, shit.
I was like, oh heck, I didn't even think about that. And
Yeah.
so
Well, at least I'm glad it all worked out the way it was supposed to, though, at the end of the day.
yeah, and the other label, it's going to be similar. The main thing, it's going to have to go on the side, so it's a smaller label, and then I have the government warning on one side, and the main difference in the other one, it'll just say 1 quart instead of the 750 mil. It'll be pretty much about the same label.
Nice.
All right. Well, I think we've had everybody on here long enough.
Well, I
Brad?
sure appreciate you guys having me.
Man,
I don't have
appreciate
any
you
real
giving us your Monday
exciting
night,
stuff.
man.
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
glad
but
you
you
can
know-
make it, and I think it's awesome that you're also trying to encourage and help others to do the same thing, Brad.
The same-
Yeah, because
you're-
I mean, like I said, everybody's been great to me, and I'm the same way. There's room for everybody, and as long as everybody works together, it just gets better. I mean,
Yeah,
Yep.
like your story's unique. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a unique story. You might think it's
Yeah.
boring. It ain't boring to us, man. Like I
It
said,
ain't boring to us, brother.
It's
Yeah.
inspiration.
You-
Inspiration.
your story's unique and it involves all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like it involves all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like in one way or another, it involves all of us. So it's like
That's exactly right.
It's really cool. And like I said, man, it is great. It is great what you did, and to know that avenue is open for anybody who has, you have, you got to have the money. You can't just walk in and be like, hey, it don't work like that. You gotta, if you want to get it done, or you gotta have something to offer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And just to see what you did with the backing of your community, and and then just the show out of the community to celebrate your achievement was amazing in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be for real. We all probably are never visiting that distillery because we don't really know about it or anything like that. But the fact that you're there connected us to it. It brought all these people in, and I know other people bought jars of other things, about shirts and things like that. You say that he ships online, so if you got something you really like, you never know, you might be able to get it in your state. So it was really cool, man. And thank you for letting us be part of your journey. We appreciate it.
Yeah, he's got some real good flavors, and like I was saying, I'm gonna try to go up there monthly if anybody's interested in doing the same thing. If they think they might would want a label, hit me up. Any questions? Because there's a lot more to it than I thought, and I'm sure most people do.
Yeah, there is.
Uh,
There's a reason
and-
why they do it. We don't.
And I'll always stand behind Rod. He took me in, and he's, Rod's passionate about it. He's from like 3 generations. He knows his stuff. He don't just run a store there. He's all about it, and he's got a lot of knowledge and passion, and he's a great dude. Sure is.
Well, it's good that he's there and he's willing to help these people, man. So that's awesome.
Yep.
We might have to look about talking to Rod sometime.
Yeah, he's a good one. He sure is. He's got
We
some good
appreciate your
stories,
time,
man.
Brad.
He's been military. He's been highway patrolman. He's been first responder. He's got the good stories.
But Uncle Joey, do your job. Anyways, y'all have a great night, man. Who we got next week?
Mina Pratt.
There you go.
She was she filmed Master Distiller with me. She done the absinthe.
Oh man, I guess everybody's got to get some absinthe to drink next week.
Oh, I got some upstairs.
There you go, baby. You're gonna loose it and everything. Get your spoon and your cubes. And
Yeah.
we're gonna do it right. So I hate drinking that shit no more. Anyways, all right. Well, y'all have a great night, man. What's up?
Thanks
Sean?
Before we
again.
get off here, man, just grab a jar from Phil.
All right, I got y'all. Brown.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
Brown.
good.
I got
I'm
y'all.
good.
Oh no, I got you, man. Say less. Say less. So this Friday we're all going down to Noble Shiners. He's got a show in downtown Dayton. Before the day they got a show with the Little Yellow Cab. I know 3 of you fuckers are in the area. If you want to come Friday night, man, we're gonna see Noble show. It'll be a good time.
At Yellow Cab, Dayton Yellow Cab.
Yep. Yeah, right there in downtown. Right there outside of the Oregon.
Nice.
So, all right. Well, y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all shine
Anybody
on.
down this way, come see me on the 20th. It drops on there.
There you go. There you go. Drops on Distillery on the 20th. Pigeon Forge. Go see Brad. Get you a jar. Try some of Rod's liquor she's got there, man. You'd be glad you did. You'd be glad you did.
Oh yeah.
So
Appreciate it.
Y'all have a good night. Talk to y'all later.